Stay tuned for the 10 p.m. edition of News Center 5 on KHAS TV.
Good evening. The petitions will go before a district judge.
KHAS TV News 5 delivers coverage you can count on.
A U.S. Senate candidate travels the state unveiling his ideas to improve health care. Nebraska's ethanol production will increase with a new plant planned near Aurora. And Grand Island police continue to investigate a fatal double shooting. And that is our top story tonight on News 5 at 6. Good evening, I'm Lauren Maloney. Rob Osman has the night off. Grand Island police tonight are in.
You're watching KHAS TV News 5, Hastings, Grand Island, Kearney, and Lincoln.
The Big Red taking the field the first day for Husker spring training.
People wrongly imprisoned in Nebraska one step closer to being paid by the government.
And wasteful state spending, a new report recommending big changes in how taxpayer money is handled. Good evening and thanks for choosing News 5 at 6. I'm James Wilcox.
I'm Karen Hatala. A recent study from the Platt Institute for...
You're watching News 5 with Chris Shukai, Shelby Fenster, and Storm Tracker 5 Chief Meteorologist Travis Planeski. This is News 5 Today.
Welcome back to News 5 Today.
Live from our studios in Hastings and Grand Island, NBC Nebraska News at 6 starts now.
6 hours and counting before 2017 in Nebraska. We'll look at a New Year's celebration all across the globe and hear about plans right here in the Tri-Cities. Plus, with all eyes on New York City tonight, we take a closer look at the security measures being taken in Times Square. But first, it's day one of the offseason for the Nebraska football team after a tough loss to Tennessee back on Friday. Hear what Coach Mike Riley had to say about the play of Grand Island native Riker 5. It is your top story for NBC Nebraska News at 6. Good evening, I'm Spencer Schubert. Jackie Kent has the night off. It was a disappointing ending.
We are NBC Nebraska. Your live, local 6 o'clock news starts now.
So long, early spring. We're tracking a big shift in the forecast in the Weather Center and out in your community. It's your top story on NBC Nebraska News at 6. Good evening, I'm Catherine Silver.
And I'm Spencer Schubert. Thanks for joining us. We've issued a weather alert day due to snow.
Covering Grand Island, Hastings, and Kearney. Local 4 at 5 starts now.
A major business in Grand Island steps up to help out the area food pantry. We'll show you how.
Plus, a well-traveled underpass is about to be temporarily closed in Grand Island. We'll tell you what to expect.
But first, are you ready for some football? Well, spring football. We're taking you to Lincoln to kick off spring ball with the Huskers. It is your top story on Local 4 News at 5. Good evening, I'm Spencer Schubert.
I'm Sarah Jenkins, and this morning the Scott Frost era officially...
Covering Grand Island, Hastings, and Kearney. Local 4 today starts now.
Good morning. It is 5 a.m. now. Today's Thursday. It's February 7th of 2019.
Covering Grand Island, Hastings, and Kearney. Local 4 today starts now.
Good morning. It is 6 a.m. now. This is Monday. It's March 23rd with a live look outside in Grand Island on live.
Covering Grand Island, Hastings, and Kearney. Local 4 at 6 starts now.
Parts of the Midwest were hit with severe weather Friday, including parts of Kansas, and today some families are left picking up the pieces of their homes. Plus, Grand Island Fire and Rescue are looking to add on to their team, and today they held a recruitment event to help get the word out. But first, we now know the name of another woman who says she was groped by gubernatorial candidate Charles Herbster. That's your top story on Local 4 News at 6. Thanks for joining us. I'm Haley Mack. Well, a second woman is stepping forward.
Covering Grand Island, Hastings, and Kearney. Local 4 at 10 starts now.
From around the world to the good life, our final spotlight on a community leader from Japan, why he loves to call Kearney his home away from home. Plus, thousands of teens in Doniphan this week for the Cornhusker State Trap Shoot. We'll be taking you there for more details. But first, a beautiful, warm Friday coming to an end tonight. But what will the rest of the weekend have in store for us? It's your top story tonight on Local 4 News at 10. Good evening, I'm Sarah Bukella. Spencer Schubert has the night off. Well, let's send it right on over to Tim Jones.
Covering Grand Island, Hastings, and Kearney. Local 4 today starts now.
Good morning, it's 5 a.m. on this Tuesday, August 6th.
Covering Grand Island, Hastings, and Kearney. Local 4 midday starts now.
Heading back to school with some fun on the first day. Students at Grand.
Covering Grand Island, Hastings, and Kearney. Local 4 at 5 starts now.
The fall sports season is oh so close to kicking off.
Covering Grand Island, Hastings, and Kearney. Local 4 at 10 starts now.
It's almost time to place your bets in central Nebraska as Funner Park is inching closer.
Covering Grand Island, Hastings, and Kearney. Local 4 today starts now.
Good morning, it's 5 a.m. on this Tuesday, December 19th. Here's a
Covering Grand Island, Hastings, and Kearney. Local 4 midday starts now.
A murder suspect back in court. We're taking a look at what unfolded during today's hearing in Hamilton County. Thanks for joining us this morning. I'm Alyssa Harrington. Well, this morning a judge
Covering Grand Island, Hastings, and Kearney. Local 4 at 5 starts now.
Respiratory illnesses are on the rise in central Nebraska, and it has a local health department issuing some pre-holiday warnings. Plus, we're officially crowning our Local 4 Photo of the Year. We'll hear from the photographer behind the lens of this year's winner. But first, another contentious board meeting in Hall County as the courthouse dilemma once again takes center stage. Thanks for joining us tonight on Local 4 News at 5. I'm Spencer Schubert. Well, courthouse additions hit the agenda yet again.
Covering Grand Island, Hastings, and Kearney. Local 4 at 6 starts now.
The city of Grand Island continues to grow, and it's all thanks to a developer in town who's already working hard. We'll tell you about a new Good Life district they hope to bring to the city. Plus, from flu to COVID-19, the bugs are floating around as we approach the holidays, and it has one local health department issuing a few reminders. But first, the future of Hall County's courthouse again in the balance this morning at county board meeting, and this time around some props being used to express some disgust. Thanks for joining us tonight on Local 4 News at 6. I'm Spencer Schubert. Well, the Hall County Board of Commissioners came to a decision.
Covering Grand Island, Hastings, and Kearney. Local 4 at 10 starts now.
'Tis the season of giving, but if you're sick, no one wants what you have. We go over a few ways to still enjoy the holiday, but keep your family safe. Plus, the first ever Local 4 Photo of the Year has been crowned. We'll hear from the person who snapped this photo of Duck Creek Lake over in Nemaha County. But first, the future of the Hall County Courthouse taking a step forward today in Grand Island. We'll take you to this morning's board meeting. Thanks for joining us tonight on Local 4 News at 10. I'm Spencer Schubert. Well, after months of discussion, the Hall County Board of Commissioners seems to be making strides.
You're watching Local 4.